Hello? Oi! Get up and get out. We're cleaning the rooms and it's checkout time. If you want another night, you'll have to pay your silver at the front before you leave like everyone else. Blinking groggily, it takes your eyes a moment to adjust to the bright light coming through the hole in the wall of your room that can only generously be described as a window. One could maybe say the same for the room. A 10 by 10 space with a small chamber pot and a pile of straw covered with stained shirts sewn together to create a sad cot. At least they're changed daily. I haven't got all day. You think this is the only thing I've got going on? You look at the source of the voice and lock eyes with Nani, the sturdy do-it-all manager of the knockaround. You mumble something incoherent as you stumble past her into the hall and down the stairs. Catching a glimpse of the sun high in the sky as you pass a window, you realize how late you slept. Consequences of late nights in an open tab, looking for work at the tavern next door. You staying another night? A gruff voice asks as you reach the ground level. Sitting on the counter is Nani's husband, the gnome Davo. Many have made the mistake of mistaking his size for vulnerability, but after enough disabusive incidents, the knockaround had earned a reputation for affordability and accountability. All this talk reminds you that you were unsuccessful finding a job the previous evening, and as you dig out your coin purse, the ever-decreasing volume of clink coming inside is starting to give you concern. You reach in and pull out 5 silver pieces, feeling more cloth than coin, and give them to the gnome. Doesn't sound like you'll be staying much longer, he responds, and he hops off his perch to deposit your payment in the till. Davo is not aware of the 10 gold pieces split between your 2 boots, but he's not far from the truth. If you cannot find work, you won't be long for a roof over your head. When you came to Zoom Aurea, you had been full of verve, ready to make a name for yourself as an adventurer. Now it's been months since you've rolled a single 20-sider. Worst of all, the longer you go without work, the more you gain the reputation of incompetence. Even simple, low-level quests like clearing a bandit camp or investigating undead in the city sewers are given to novices, but not to you. At this point, you'd help exterminate rats in an old lady's basement so as not to go home, battered hat in hand, a career that never even had a chance to launch. You slowly shamble to the tavern next door, rehearsing your story in your mind, already bracing yourself for rejection. You catch the name of the establishment out of the corner of your eye. Dungeons and Toast. It still doesn't make sense to you. Pulling out your purse, you empty it onto the bar and 3 copper pieces fall out. You sigh and realize that if today is not the day, you'll have a hard decision to make tomorrow morning regarding the gold in your boots and a potential return trip home to a judgmental mother. You could have been a farmer like your father. Or your petty sister who recently married into low-class money as the wife of the beekeeper's son. Hovey is so talented. You know, he made copper lids for jars, saves money on the old silver lids, and he charges more for the pretty, pretty color. You keep your coin. Tonight's on me. You look up and see the kind eye of Rebrick, the one-eyed half-dwarf barkeep who has taken a shine to you despite your luck. You've always been respectful and been watching you for months, missing opportunities you deserve to have. Well, I was once a down on my luck adventurer before I lost my eye to that. Story for another time, perhaps. I received this package from an old contact of mine, and I think it's time you got your shot. He places a small but weighty parcel in front of you. It's wrapped in ochre wool and tied with dark red yarn. It is accompanied by a vellum envelope inside which you find a missive. As you read it, you can sense the entitled, sniveling, arrogant tone of its writer. It reads with the tone of a man who, if given a silver spoon, would scoff and spit at you because the silver is too beneath him. Born into privilege, never worked a day in his life. You should probably just read the note.
Greetings. I hope this letter finds you in good spirits and of hale health. I understand you to be a competent sort of explorer, brave enough to seek your fortunes in these treacherous lands, eschewing more mundane pursuits in favor of a life of adventure and glory. To this I say, huzzah! You are made of stouter stuff than most, and it is this bravery and determination that leads me to write to you today. You see, I'm in need of an adventurer, possessed of just such qualities, to seek a precious treasure, one whose retrieval and delivery would certainly find your name and saga recorded in the annals of history. You see, my mother is the Duchess of Daggerford and is convinced that I am an unworthy heir, unfit to succeed her in ruling over the people of Daggerford. She is ever convinced that we are on the brink of war with our neighboring duchy and insists that I demonstrate mettle in battle in a most coarse fashion by retrieving the orb of Davros, a legendary artifact said to grant fantastical oratory powers to anyone who possesses it. Unfortunately, the item was stolen hundreds of years ago and is now rumored to be among the treasure hoard guarded by the Manticore of Sword Mountain. As I myself have not the skill set suitable for this task, I call upon you, brave and noble adventurer. Seek for me the Manticore of the Sword Mountains, secreted away in a lair whose location has been lost to kingdom cartographers. Slay the beast if you must, but at all costs, retrieve for me the orb. Do this for me, and I can promise you will be richly rewarded, even beyond the songs that will undoubtedly be sung after your glorious deeds. Enclosed, you shall find an artifact of some power. A compass, I'm told, will help lead you to the beast's abode. Do consider bringing a companion or 20 for the journey. I'm told the path into and through the mountains is quite treacherous, and I find it's better to keep slower friends in one's company when such company may be beset by foulest villains intent upon separating one from their valuables or their heads. You need not respond to this missive. I know that the common adventurer's burning exigency to perform glorious acts means that I need not compel you to agree to take up this quest. Rather, I look forward with great excitation to welcome you to the seat of my soon-to-be duchy. Your brother in arms, Marquess Sandiford Wilhelm Daggerford.
You unwrap the accompanying parcel and find within a tarnished metal compass whose fine face shows a number of cracks. You're surprised the glass hasn't surrendered to its injury altogether. You turn this way and that, assuming the compass will work as others have encountered, but the needle remains stalwartly unresponsive. Annoyed, you allow your spirits to lift even a moment. You consider whether you might be able to trade the item for enough silver to keep you in Zumoria a few more nights. You notice a stoutly dressed orc approach the bar, and you're surprised to see the needle begin to lazily sway back and forth, just a few degrees this way and that. Is this an orc detector, you think? You are under the impression that such devices are supposed to glow blue. You are considering approaching the orc. You think you remember hearing him referred to as Ugg, when a red-haired, aggressively dressed woman joins him. She is wearing her 17th outfit in 3 days. I believe you had seen her with antlers on at some point or another. And as always, carries a chalice filled to the brim with the town's finest wine and a small bag with 3 more bottles to last her through the night. You think her name was Hoof or something of that nature. The needle seems further interested by her presence as it moves a few more degrees. Apparently, it has an attraction to individuals with incoherent sounds as names. Curious, you move closer to the pair, satisfied when the needle begins to move more quickly, if not with greater conviction. Further experimentation reveals that the compass will only work effectively when in the company of at least a dozen others. With the tavern's bustling activity, you will need to find friends and allies amongst the group. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and guests, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to the first meeting for the Lost Lair of the Manticore. At this point, I would like to introduce our master bard and wonderful, wonderful mistress of costumes in the Dungeons of Toast Club Guild. And she will speak a little bit about the changes that we're going to talk about moving into the next year and the cool things we'll get to do together as we commit to this campaign.